This is Partners in Crime with Adam Croft and Robert Dawes.
Another Friday, another episode of Partners in Crime, number 62, Bob.
Yes, 62, my goodness me. That's actually at last older than I am. For certain.
Although
it feels as if it is anyway. 62.
We're racking them up at one a week rather than one a year, so
Yes,
we're going to overtake at some point. We had good fun last week. It was almost a bit of Partners in Crime live at the Hampton Literary Festival.
That was our first platform performance together, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
If you can call it a performance. Appearance, I think, is probably better.
Yeah.
Fortunately, with the lovely Anthony Lowry, a novelist and playwright, and, what doesn't Anthony do?
I've not found anything yet.
He's bags full of talent, is Mr. Lowry.
Yeah.
But the three of us appeared discussing crime fiction, would you believe? And we had a lovely time. It was a lovely time, wasn't it? The Ampthill Literary Festival is local. We don't have to travel very far to go there, which is very pleasant. But it was wonderfully well run, as these things very often are these days. You know, and we got a very warm welcome, and there was a lovely turnout there. So. A good time was had by all.
And if you did miss the Ampthill Literary Festival last week, you may be pleased to know that something else was actually announced last week, wasn't it? That in September, we will be doing the very first Partners in Crime Live. Yes. Which will be happening at the Morecambe and Vice Crime Writing Festival at the Midland Hotel in Morecambe. That's on Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th of September this year. Really, really looking forward to that. It's a brilliant festival, which we've spoken about on Partners in Crime many times before. And this year they've asked us to come up and record an episode of Partners in Crime in front of a live studio audience, which is going to be a lot of fun.
In the iconic Midland Hotel. I don't know if they've actually got a studio, but I mean, it'll be a nice jolly room.
A live audience.
And for those of you who don't know Morecambe, you'll probably recognise the Midland Hotel. It's used very, very often for anything that is, any film or television that is set in the 1920s or 1930s. It's an extraordinary piece of architecture. So Google it and you'll go, oh, that's where it's at, is it? Poirot did a lot of work there, and I've seen several films where I've gone, that's the Midland. Anyway, it's a beautiful hotel and a beautiful spot, and I think there's going to be an Eden Centre. The second Eden Centre is going to be, I think, right beside it. I think they've just announced that. So Morecambe is a buzz, and none more so than in September when the Morecambe and Vice, short, fat, and hairy version of the crime.
That is what we were going to call the podcast before we chose Partners in Crime, wasn't it? Short, fat, and hairy.
So and it's a great spot, and those of people who've been watching The Bay will probably recognise Morecambe as well, because that's the principal location for that crime series on ITV.
Well, if you are in the northwest of England, or if you want to travel a little bit further afield to see us, then you will need to get your tickets pretty much now, straight away, as soon as they are available, because Morecambe and Vice is always a very, very well-attended festival, and there are limited tickets. And if you want to get tickets to come and see Partners in Crime live, head over to morecambecrimefest.co.uk, or Google the Morecambe and Vice Crime Writing Festival and you'll find their website. That's on Saturday 28th and Sunday the 29th of September 2019 at the Midland Hotel in Morecambe. Really, really looking forward to that. We've done live episodes before.
But we've never done them out in the public.
Never in the public, no.
We've always done them here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very nice. And that's the wonderful thing about literary festivals, as I've said before. And one of the reasons they're so popular and usually so well attended is that it takes you to many very interesting spots around this beautiful country. And I would love to have the opportunity to go and do some abroad. Wouldn't it be nice? So if there are any of our listeners out there who have got a local literary festival that fancies flying in Partners in Crime,
you there in Tobago,
and their entourage, we've got a very modest rider for our appearances, and that'd be great. I've got images now of being in the Rocky Mountains or being in Southwest Australia, or so if you're listening out there, make this man's wish come true.
Maybe our friend in Tobago can help us out.
That would be nice.
It would.
The Tobago Crime Lit Fest.
Yeah, get it started.
Tobago Noir.
Yeah, get it started. Get us invited. We're there. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. The episode, the performance. It's not really a performance. We're just going to sit there and chat nonsense like we always do, but in front of people. We're hoping to have a live guest as well and some audience interaction. So if you want to get yourself on Partners in Crime, you definitely need to come along and get yourself a ticket. But if you can't make it, if you are in Tobago, for example, the show will the show. Yes, it will go out as the podcast the week afterwards. So if you can't make it, the week after we actually do it live, that will be the following week's episode. I hope that makes sense. It didn't make any sense whatsoever in my mind, even though I knew what I was meant to say.
I'm still figuring it out, but it sounded right. It's like Eric Morecambe. You're playing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order.
Yes.
So so that's very good. You have a live guest. I suppose with a murder mystery crime lit festival, you caused quite a sensation. You said, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our dead guest this week." In fact, I think Graham Bartlett and his wonderful companions actually do have a dead body, which they analyse and forensically and in all other areas when they travel around the Lit Fests, which is a great event to go to. Talking about Morecambe, that segues rather nicely into our first mention of our recommended author of the week, the first one anyway, and the main one this week, and that is Matthew Arledge. M.J. Arledge, as he is known as a novelist, and he's I first met him last year at the Morecambe Festival, where he was highly entertaining contribution to one of their panels up there, and as I mentioned, a thoroughly nice chap, and probably one of the busiest writers in the business, and that business straddles both novels and screenwriting for the television. So I'll tell you a little bit about him and then his books. His career has been mostly in television up to the last few years, starting out in EastEnders and working for such acclaimed companies as Ecos Films, and then he worked on series such as Monica the Glen, Mistresses, Cape Wrath, and all sorts of fantastic television. And then he started his own production television company, TXTV, with colleagues Jeremy Gwilt, a well-known producer. I've worked with him. He produced House of Elliot many moons ago, and my mate Chris Lang, who is one of the kings of crime writing with his television series Unforgotten, which is a huge favourite of Partners in Crime, and he writes lots of other things as well. He's always on a train to Paris when he's writing things over there as well, slightly mysterious but absolutely fascinating. That's the wonderful Christopher Lang, or Chris.
Name dropping again.
So and so he and Tom and Jeremy have got this company, and last year they produced one of my favourite series of last year, which was Undeniable, and I believe that they've been greenlit and they're probably in the thick of completing their second Undeniable series, which is an absolute must-see on ITV, and I dare say will be out later on in the year, or maybe at the beginning of the new year. Anyway, we are looking at his novels, and we have been sent his very latest, which is great. I have had the great good fortune to read the first two of his Helen Grace series, and quite interesting that Matt, when he decided to write crime thrillers and start writing his series of Helen Grace, he pitched all 7 novels to Penguin, the publishers, at their very first meeting, and they said yes, and they haven't regretted it at all, because he was as good as his word, and he's just produced book after book of incredibly high standards and great stories. So this is his very latest, which is A Gift for Dying. What do you think, Adam?
Well, yes, it's been out a few weeks now, and I've got some bump here that I'm going to, in true Bob Dawes style, just read out. It says the terrifying new standalone from Sunday Times bestseller. Adam Brandt is a forensic psychologist used to dealing with the most damaged members of society, but he's never met anyone like Cassie. The teenager claims to have a terrible gift. With just one look, she can foresee when and how you will die. Adam knows Cassie must be insane, but a serial killer is terrorising the city, and only Cassie seems to know who his next victim will be. Against all his intuition, Adam starts to believe her, but he doesn't realise how deadly his faith might prove. There's been some advanced praise for the book, even before it was released. Liz Barnsley from Liz Love Books said, excellent and creepy serial killer thriller, plus here from Mr. Arledge. Sarah Hardy from By the Letter Book Reviews said it's guaranteed to win over new fans as well as old. A dark, twisted and gripping read. Loved it. This was such a great book. He will definitely be a must-read from now on, from Gem's bookshelves. The praise goes on and on and on. And yes, from what I've read so far, I must say I quite agree. It's something a little bit different. It's very atmospheric, very intriguing, and definitely a page turner.
Well, I ate that one up. I have to say, and a wonderful blend of the paranormal and serial
or
murder.
Is it?
Well, absolutely. It's a great read. It's a wonderful page turner, and it's one of the huge strengths of Mr. Arledge's writing. And you can detect his television origins in the pacing. And did I say television oranges?
I think you nearly did.
Yes, oranges are not the only fruit. You can actually detect that, and in no way takes away. In actual fact, I think it just adds all sorts of levels to pace, and his character detail is absolutely splendid. It really does keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a great book, A Gift for Dying, and it's available now. We've got the hardback, which is very nice. I like a hardback, as you know.
Sure.
Can I hear it?
We haven't done this yet, have we?
No, can I hear it? That is the sound of M.J. Arledge's A Gift for Dying. That's what it sounds like if you flick the pages. But don't only flick them, dally on each page and enjoy, because it's a great read.
Or even better, swipe the pages.
Oh, swipe
or
the pages.
Tap the pages, which is what you would do if you got the book from Kobo.
Did you hear what he did there, listeners?
Master of the segue.
My goodness me, you got us out of a sharp dive there.
I did. Kobo very kindly sponsor this podcast. An incredible company, incredible people, and fantastic e-readers. And no, I'm not being paid to say that bit. If you like the sound of MJ Arledge's A Gift for Dying, head over to kobo.com, find that, and when you get to the checkout, if you haven't bought from Kobo before, enter the promo code CRIME and they'll give you 90% off of that purchase. If you have bought from Kobo before, if you've used that code, then use the promo code PARTNERS and they'll give you 40% off of all of your ebook purchases for life. So practically half price reading for the rest of your life from Kobo, which is an extraordinarily generous gift. Isn't it?
Yes, it's the gift that just keeps giving, and we like those. And of course, as the word of gift is just a play on this book, A Gift for Dying. So yeah, wherever you get it from, hopefully Kobo. But if you fancy a hardback, then get them all.
Sorry,
I'll get both.
I'll go and get the door, Hannah.
Or get both. But do get it. Now, I started reading Matt's books. The first one was Eeny Meeny, which was the first of the Helen Gray series, and was hooked. And Pop Goes the Weasel is the one I read a few months ago, which again is terrific. I haven't had a chance to catch up with the others yet, but I'm about to do it. But you know, if like me, you like to start at the beginning. And you've got A Gift for Dying. Come and get by it, of course. But why not start with Eeny Meeny as well? It's incredibly atmospheric and really just sets the scene for the Helen Gray series. I'll read the blurb for that one as well. Judy Finnegan said this is going to be as big as Joe Nesbo, and she's probably right. Jeffrey Deaver is another fan of MJ Arledge. What a great premise, he says. Eeny Meeny is the rocket-paced serial killer thriller debut from M.J. Arledge. Eeny Meeny was a Richard and Judy Book Club summer 2014 pick. So it's only 2019, so you can see Mr. Arledge is delivering these books on time for Penguin and with great elan. This is what Eeny Meeny is about. The girl emerged from the woods barely alive. Her story was beyond belief, but it was true. Every dreadful word of it. Days later, another desperate escapee is found, and a pattern is emerging. Pairs of victims are being abducted, imprisoned, then faced with a terrible choice: kill or be killed. Would you rather lose your life or lose your mind? Detective Inspector Helen Grace has faced down her own demons on her rise to the top. As she leads the investigation to hunt down this unseen monster, she learns that it may be the survivors, living calling cards, who hold the key to the case. And unless she succeeds, more innocents will die. So there we are. That's M.J. Arledge, 3 of his books. Get the lot. You'll have a splendid time.
You will indeed. But A Gift for Dying, Bob, is not the only book which came out recently, is it?
No, there is another book. What's his name? He's a local author.
Very handsome, lots of hair.
Well, it depends. It depends whether you've been to your optician recently. But yes, I think I know who you mean. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this Monday, that's Adam's way of actually saying, how about a plug? And I think he deserves one. The amount of work he puts into Partners in Crime on all sorts of levels. This week has seen the latest Kempston Hardwick mystery, penned by Mr. Croft himself, and it is called The Wrong Man. It's out this week, and I am taking it away with me next week. I'm away next week, and it is going to be the first book up, and I'm looking forward to it tremendously. Anyone who has read Adam's Kempston Hardwick mystery knows that they are smashing, beautifully plotted mysteries, which he writes out of affection for the golden age of murder mysteries in the 20s or 30s, although Kempston Hardwick is very much a contemporary. It's a contemporary fiction set in a town not unlike the one in which we live. But you don't need to know that to enjoy it. Kempston Hardwick is a wonderful character in the true tradition of classic sleuths, and you'll be teased, you'll be thrilled, and you'll be deeply amused by the latest book, The Wrong Man, available now. Where could you get that?
You could get that from Kobo as well, actually.
Yes,
head over to
okay.
kobo.com, use the promo code CRIME at the checkout, and they'll give you 90% off if it's your first purchase, or Partners, and they'll give you 40% off of your order purchases moving forward. You don't need an e-reader or any particular fancy equipment. If you're listening to this, you can read your effectively almost half-price purchases on any smartphone or tablet or basically anything using the free Kobo app.
40% off an Adam Croft mystery. It just means he takes 60 pages out of the book. So still makes sense. Strangely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's that's the start of my read for next week.
You haven't read the back.
Okay, I'm going to read the back. Here we go.
Amateurs.
This is the pressure is on, listeners. The pressure is on. The Wrong Man. Book launches are rarely exciting. The odd murder tends to spice things up a bit, though. When famous novelist Rupert Pearson's PA doesn't turn up for his launch at the Freemasons' Arms, he's more annoyed than upset. He certainly didn't expect anyone to find her face down in a ditch. For Kempston Hardwick, dead PAs are business as usual. Unfortunately, at least there are lots of excuses to visit the pub. But why had she made so many enemies? Why are the police so keen to fit up an innocent man? And where did Doug's pickled onions go?
The biggest mystery of them all.
Well, that's the pickled onions.
All will become clear on that front.
Well, you see, there we are. I mean, quite frankly, he had me long before the pickled onions bit, although, let's face it, that's certainly given me a taste for this novel. So there we are.
I don't want my novels to taste of onions.
No, absolutely. Well, I like a pickled onion. Don't you like a pickled onion?
I love a pickled onion, but I don't want my novels to remind people of them.
No, you won't. No, you won't. It really Anyway, we'll just have essence of pickled onion, ladies and gentlemen. But there we are. That's the new Kempston Hardwick
infused into the pages.
Yeah, if you're a lover of the Hardwick series, then you'll be downloading even as we speak. And if you're new to them, then why not get what was the very first one you wrote?
Exit Stage Left.
I should know that because we recorded that one, and that was great fun.
A few times.
You can pick up any of the series, and you'll have a very jolly time. Yeah. So there we are. That's Croft and Arledge, sort of put on a pedestal where they deserve to be.
Where we should be, rightly so.
So what's next?
In the episode or in life in general?
Well, I think the two seem to go hand in hand, don't they, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to mention Line of Duty, whoops, because I haven't seen the most recent episode yet. Yes, I've got to catch up on that before Sunday. So
well, I'm doing a show at the weekend, and
tomorrow, in fact.
Yes. God, that is the weekend, and the producer of Line of Duty, and we've mentioned it twice now, is coming down. So
really?
I'm to see it, so I'm going to buy him a drink and hope that he tells me who H is.
And get yourself in the next series. Is there going to be a next series?
Yes, there is. Yes, it's commissioned already, and I was reading in the paper yesterday. You know me, I believe everything I read in the newspapers. Fake news. Is that Martin Compston has been approached to do 2 more. I don't know whether it's... I know they're definitely doing a Series 6 of Line of Duty, but I was led to believe that was it. I don't know whether there's going to be a spin-off or with Martin Compston's character in it or whatever. It didn't go into any great detail. They just said that the producers, I think, were offering him a 2-series contract.
We'll get the producer drunk tomorrow night and find out.
We will have all the goss for you.
Just broadcast it the week after.
Line of Duty, and I can actually hear our listeners banging their heads on the table saying, "We've not seen it yet. Why don't they just shut up?" But anyway, it's a great series. It's living up to all its critical raves.
Yes, well-deserved hype, yes. I've not been keeping an eye on what's coming up on TV and things like that recently. I'm not sure
it's spring, you see. This is what happens, really. Traditionally, we've had fairly nice weather. And so I know, for a start putting sort of plants in the ground and adding all sorts of smelly products to make them blossom and grow and blossom.
Yes,
because
very technical.
Yes, you can tell I've got green fingers, but not for the reasons that you have. And proof is in the pudding. Looking at your garden just shows what a capability brown you are.
Well, it's beats doing work. I'll put it that way.
It certainly does beat doing work.
You're right. It's weird because you come back after Christmas, don't you? And you've got all the new TV shows seem to kind of appear then. Your new Line of Duty comes, in the sort of early mid-spring. There's quite a few things. New Death in Paradise kicks in, doesn't it, in January? And
that tends to. I mean, the 2 big season launches in the UK, I'm pretty certain they're much the same in the States, and elsewhere is September, the end of the summer, beginning of the autumn launch, and the other launches in January. And
basically, when people start staying in January, people don't go out because they've spent enough money over Christmas, and September, October, they've had their summer holidays. It's starting to get a bit cold. So they stay in and watch the telly.
You've got them locked into the armchair, and you have them over a barrel. And years of experience have taught me that if you've made a television series or a programme and they're scheduling it in the middle of the summer, then the decision has been made that it's not particularly good. So where your programme is scheduled helps an awful lot, and actually just shows what enthusiasm there is for the programme from the broadcasters. But yes,
Poldark was early in the year, wasn't it?
Poldark was, I don't know when the first one went out. I think it was January too. Certainly the last few series have come out in January. I've got a sneaking suspicion the first one came out in September.
So Prime Slot obviously had high hopes.
Well, also, I mean,
despite your appearance.
Well, how fortunate am I to get work at any time? That's one of the great mysteries. But there we go. So yes, I mean, all this time of year is also the time certainly in the United States, where there is the big cull of a series that haven't worked, and I always look with a particular eye on the crime thrillers that have been given the axe, sometimes justifiably, but sometimes extraordinarily. And who knows why an excellently made program doesn't get picked up, or more to the point, why it doesn't quite get the viewing programs of sometimes less good shows. That's the public's taste, I guess. And if you're ahead of that, you be what's his name? Cowell. Simon Cowell.
Oh, Simon Cowell, right.
Yes. Guessing what the public seem to want, or whatever. It'd be
I think he tells them what they want. I think there's a bit of a difference.
Well, yes. Well, maybe you should go into production of a crime and murder mystery series. That would be quite good. X marks the spot. Or Britain's Got Bodies.
I'll give him a call. I'll leave him a voicemail.
Hey, sir, got a great idea. Enough of this reality competition television. How about doing a little bit of fiction?
Yeah, maybe it could be like a television talent show for killers.
Oh, that's dark. Can you imagine? Yes.
How would that work?
Yeah, Britain's Got Murderers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if you want to invent that format, how that would work, listeners, do get in touch with us. Hello at partnersincrime.online. We'd love to hear your ideas for a reality show based around murder.
And this week we're taking these 3 serial killers to judges' houses. I don't think they get through the door, do you? I think that.
No. I hope they're not too keen on their patio.
Yeah. So we've got a lovely weekend ahead of us over here. We always like to talk about the weather, as you know. Apparently we're in for a little bit of a cold snap with rain coming in from the west, so
we are, yes.
That's a shame. We don't really know what's happening, because when the weather's nice, it's really nice at the moment, and when it's not, it's really very unpleasant. It's a very changeable season.
It's kind of middling out there now.
Yeah,
so
it's typically British.
I might, if it stays warm, I might go and chuck some plants in the ground and throw some smelly stuff on them, as you so graciously put it earlier.
Well, I mean, what's your favourite flower?
Do you know what? I don't think I actually have one.
What's your second favourite jam? Let's go right to the core of Adam Croft. We've just recommended his book. What makes him tick? What is your favourite flower?
I don't think I have one. Okay. I'll be completely honest. I've got many favourites, but yeah, I don't have one that I think is. Yeah, I think possibly a good old English lavender.
Yes,
I do quite like the smell and the. Yeah, I think that's quite relaxing. Brings lots of bees into the garden as well. Very good. Keeps the rest of us alive.
Bees are a wonderful thing. So, so lavender is your favourite flower. What about hardy perennial? Do you have a favourite hardy perennial? Do you have a favourite bush?
We'll leave that one there.
Oh.
Partners in Crime was presented by Adam Croft and Robert Dawes and produced by Adam Croft. The theme tune was by the Caesareans. The Partners in Crime logo and imagery were designed by Stuart Beisch. Partners in Crime is sponsored by Kobo, your favourite local bookshop, perfected.